Good morning, ladies and gents. It's time for another Workshop Wednesdays. And like always, your questions prevail. We have somewhat of an agenda just to show you some various things that we'd like to go over. But of course, if you have questions, those take priority. So please don't hesitate to ask anything you'd like. This is kind of your time. We tried this out in the past before. If you have a mic and you want to speak your question instead of just simply type it in, that's always an option as well. This is our standard disclaimer. Many of you guys have probably seen it already, and so I'm not going to belabor the point. But today, actually, before we get started, I just want to ask a real quick, let's see if I can find my poll here. It doesn't seem to be showing, so I guess we'll skip that until I can get that working. But anyways, today's topic is finding congestion. I'm sure those of you that have tried trading live have noticed that congestion or consolidation sometimes is referred to as basically the moments in the market where it starts to compress and you start to get kind of very small price movements up and down over a fair period of time. And it's just enough to maybe stop you out, but not enough to get you anywhere in terms of profit. So these are what a lot of traders consider fairly dangerous zones. But on the flip side, I've seen many techniques where congestion or consolidation actually can be golden opportunities. So looking for these zones where you sort of see the price starting to narrow. Sometimes I've heard of it as being like an elastic band, and it's just getting ready to explode in one way or the other. So finding these areas of congestion can be quite beneficial. So today we're going to cover various techniques on how to use BloodHound to find these areas of congestion. Looking at the linear regression channel, both the slope as well as the width. The ADX VMA, which Zach will go into detail of what that exactly is. It's an indicator from Big Mike's trading. The SI swings volatility, that's an included indicator with BloodHound, and it shows basically, we're going to show you how to look at the swing volatility, like how much room or how much movement a price is going in a particular direction before it switches on you. And that's a great way to determine if you have enough volatility to trade. So, if your swings are kind of bouncing up and down but in very short steps, that's a good sign that you don't have very much room for profit in either way. Versus if you start to see very large swings in either direction, that could be a good indication that you have some good room for profit. Finally, and sort of a kissing cousin, I guess, of that version is the bar length solvers, which include BloodHound, which kind of to some degree show somewhat the same thing. But instead of looking at swing patterns, you're looking at basically bar lengths. But before we begin, we actually have a very special guest here today. Ryan from NinjaTrader has a special offer for those of you guys that took the trouble to come out this morning and visit our webinar. So what I'm going to do here is just pass over to Ryan real quick and have him kind of go over what he has to offer. So without any further ado, give me 1 second here. I'll make Ryan a presenter. Okay, Ryan, you should have the floor now. If you can just share your screen.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan Sindelar. I'm the Business Development Manager over at NinjaTrader, and very excited to be in the room here today. Speaking and joining Jeremy and Zach. I really appreciate them offering me the opportunity to be a special guest in today's event and to talk with all the traders out there today that are part of the following at Shark Indicators. Shark Indicators is something that we find to be a very unique and interesting partnership with NinjaTrader, and we certainly appreciate all of the work involved in creating their unique setup and system that runs on the NinjaTrader platform. So I spoke with Jeremy yesterday and just asked him if I could come in and speak for a few minutes about NinjaTrader and ask everybody in the room if the folks in the room that can hear me okay, if you can just type in a message saying that my audio is okay. And then I also want to ask everybody in the room here to just also post in the chat if you are a live NinjaTrader user, please type in the word live. If you are currently using the free version of NinjaTrader, please type in the word free. And if you're currently not using NinjaTrader, please type in the word not using. And let's see here if I have access to the
It looks like
chat messages that are coming in. I'm not exactly sure.
yeah, right. In GoToMeeting, it's actually comes up in the questions, and I'm just sort of counting it. You have about it looks like about 90% are NinjaTrader users, and you have about two people that one person that's not, and then another that's using the free version, but everybody else is using the live.
Okay, fantastic. That sounds great. And Jeremy, if folks do have any questions today for me, if you want to take a look at any of those questions and read those to me at the end, I'd be glad to address any that you feel would be important before leaving here today. And I know Jeremy and Zach do have a lot to get to today, so I don't want to spend too much time with you guys, but I just want to go over real quick that we do have a special offer for those folks in the room. So that you can take advantage of our full standard version of the NinjaTrader platform for both live trading. And since most of you in the room are currently NinjaTrader users, you know that we do have an award-winning platform for discretionary traders, market analytics, technical analysis, of course, our signature advanced trade management strategies, tools for back testing and system development for strategy traders and strategy developers, and of course professional educators and custom indicator developers such as Jeremy and Zach here today. Just a little bit of a background about the NinjaTrader company. We started as a formally recognized company almost 10 years ago, back in 2004, and at that time the platform was actually developed by our CEO for his own personal futures trading, and he was his background is in sales and business development, got into trading, and ultimately the products that were out there did not, to him, seem very efficient in the manner of order execution and order entry, and so through his own due diligence and banging away at code, he created what is known as today as ATM technology, or advanced trade management technology, and the ability to create profit target and stop loss orders with one click of the mouse. So that's sort of where our claim to fame and our background came from. Also, for those of you in the room, one thing I did want to highlight today is something that me personally would not I would not be the trader that I am today, I guess is what I would say, without the help of market replay. I know that back testing and using our strategy analyzer has always been helpful for me, but our market replay technology is something that for those of you out there that may not be using NinjaTrader, this is a great way to get started because it is part of our free version of NinjaTrader, and you can download that at ninjatrader.com. But market replay is also available on any of our license keys, and basically what it allows you to do is during the live market, you can record the live session and then replay that back day or night, 24/7. Even on weekends, you can fast forward or pinpoint to a certain place in the market. And for me, it was very helpful because there were certain things that I would do in my live trading when I first got started that really frustrated me. And the ability to go back and review where I placed a trade, maybe my entry price was too early, I got into a trade too early, or I missed a move and tried to chase it and got in too late, I can go back and stop and start and really see things and slow things down which really helped my learning process. I look at it as the same way as a football player, a baseball player, anybody that's a pro athlete these days takes video of any of their performances and then replays those to fine-tune their game plan. In a lot of ways, what we do in the live market, I think applies similarly to that concept. I mean, those football teams out there these days, for those of you in the United States that follow the NFL, every single football team uses video replay to formalize their upcoming strategies for their next opponent in their next game. The other thing that I really enjoy about the market replay technology is the opportunity to learn how to trade new markets without risking your capital. One that I think I've seen the most screen time on right now for me is the ES, and I definitely feel comfortable trading the ES. But one market that I'm currently learning, I guess is what I would say, is the 6E. It's always been a market that I have not necessarily been as familiar with over time, and always have been skeptical about trading it. So what I do is I record the 6E market and then utilize market replay at the end of my trading day to see and recognize different patterns in the market that might form good trade opportunities, and also be able to fine-tune how my profit targets and stop losses should be set. Is there places in there that maybe I could utilize an auto break even or an auto trail, and maybe where I set something like that up and really didn't have the correct settings there. So market replay, I definitely feel, is one of the advantages of utilizing the niche trader platform, and certainly for those out there that are seeking education and joining events such as the Shark Indicators event today. You're out there trying to find new ways to better fine-tune your strategies. Market replay is just another one that you can do that with. And also, we do have some brand new videos on our Ninja Trader YouTube channel that cover market replay and how to get that set up, as well as we're going to be doing some upcoming training events in our Ninja Trader webinar room with market replay technology. So if you want to learn more about that, feel free to contact us at sales@ninjatrader.com, and we can go over that in more detail. Once again, I did mention about chart trader and ATM strategy, a couple of our claims to fame, and certainly something that has allowed us to become recognized out here as a award-winning trading software. Last year, we did win several awards throughout the industry and presence. So we are very proud to be recognized as one of the industry-leading trading platforms, and being recognized throughout the industry as a leader. And then, last but not least, before we proceed to the Ninja Trader discount offer that I have available here today, is that for those of you that do not know about Kinetic, Kinetic is Ninja Trader's preferred market data service. It is a data feed service only, so if you are trading live through your broker, that's great, and you probably get data from your broker to connect to Ninja Trader. But if you want to access different markets that your broker does not currently provide, Kinetic is certainly a great option there. You can get access to the world's leading exchanges for stocks, futures, and forex quotes. So I know I've talked to a lot of traders out there since Kinetic came on board that they may connect to their broker, and they may also connect to Kinetic to have access to stock quotes or forex quotes that their broker may not provide. Also, you can use Kinetic as a primary or a backup data feed service in combination with your brokerage account. If you trade futures, Kinetic does offer a CME fee waiver program. So all you have to do is pay the real-time subscription price, and they waive, since you have a Ninja Trader brokerage account, you connect to that once a month with Kinetic. You validate a exchange fee waiver program, which means that it eliminates any exchange fees for the CME, Globex, COMEX, NYMEX. So if you're monitoring those products such as oil or the E-minis, you can get a backup data feed or a primary data feed for those markets at just $50 a month. You can always contact us at sales@kinetic.com for more information about Kinetic. Okay, so if there is anything that you want to see live, I know I do see some questions coming in, but they're coming in kind of quick. So I kind of want Jeremy and Zach to take a look at those, and then we'll go over those at the end here in just a second. But if there is anything with your questions that I can show you on a chart, I do have my NinjaTrader running with Kinetic data, and so we can go over some things potentially at the end of today's event. So for those of you in the room, we actually have a special live trading discount offer, and this is a one-time only thing. We rarely discount our lifetime licenses. We rarely discount any purchase of NinjaTrader, since we do feel that we are significantly very affordable and competitive in our pricing already in the market. But you know, as a special thank you to those that are following Jeremy and Zach and the Shark Indicators crew, we are offering a one-time only webinar attendee special discount and also a free trial offer. So for those of you that are live trading with NinjaTrader and may not have taken advantage of our lifetime license, which means that you would own NinjaTrader for life and never have to pay another lease payment, we are taking $200 off of a multi-broker lifetime license, and you can also save $100 off of a single broker lifetime license as well. So our $9.95 price for the single broker lifetime license would be reduced by 10% down to $8.95. Now, for those of you that already have a single broker lifetime license and wish to upgrade to a multi-broker license, we'll also provide a discount off of that, which would be $100 off for the upgrade. And all leaseholders are also eligible for an additional prorated discount, meaning that if you're currently on a quarterly lease of a single broker license and paying quarterly, and you're 1 month into your quarterly subscription, we will take off that time remaining on the current subscription of 2 months off the price of upgrading to a lifetime license as well. And if you're currently not using a live version of NinjaTrader, or maybe you're using the direct edition through your brokerage account that does not offer advanced trade management strategies or chart trader, you can also take advantage of trying NinjaTrader for free. If you've never tried NinjaTrader before, you can get 1 month free with your quarterly lease. You do have to sign up by tomorrow. This offer for this discount does expire at the close of business on Thursday, but if you sign up, you'll receive your first month free, and the billing only begins after the end of the first month. So if you do sign up before the close of business on June 28th, your bill would not start until the next 30 days. So you won't get billed until July 27th, 28th, and you can cancel anytime within the first 30 days, and it's risk-free. There'll be no charge to you as long as you cancel in advance of your first payment. And again, this does only apply to first-time purchasers. So how do you get access to this special discount? Well, like I said, we typically do not and rarely offer any type of discount. Therefore, I can't post any type of link for the discount in the room. What you need to do is email sales@ninjatrader.com. So just contact us at sales@ninjatrader.com with the subject being Shark Indicators Webinar Discount. So that's what you need to do. You need to contact us at sales@ninjatrader.com, and in the subject line put Shark Indicators Webinar Discount, and we will send you instructions on how to take advantage of the purchase. In your email, you should also mention whether or not you're interested in doing the free trial of the quarterly lease, or whether you want to purchase NinjaTrader outright or upgrade to a lifetime license. So just let our sales team know what you're looking to do, and we will follow up with you. If you also want to include a phone number, we can also contact you for the purchase over the phone. With that being said, I do want to thank everyone for attending today's event. I know that Jeremy and Zach provide great education out there and some very unique services and products. So we're very proud to have them as NinjaTrader partners. And if you do have any questions, or Jeremy, if you want to send me any questions or discuss any questions with me from the audience, I will do my best to answer those for the audience as well. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah, actually, Ryan, we got one quick question from Mandeep, just asking. He wants to upgrade his machine, and if he buys now, will you be able to move his license over to the other machine?
Yes, absolutely. The NinjaTrader lifetime license can be used on multiple machines. The only restriction is that you cannot connect to the live accounts at the same time on both machines. So if you upgrade your machine, your license key can be transferred to any PC. I know a lot of folks here in the office and a lot of my clients I've talked to over the years utilize their lifetime license on their office PC and their laptop machine. So long as they're not connecting live to their live account on both at the same time, that's the only restriction.
Okay, great. So thanks, Ryan, for joining us. Ryan, are you going to be sticking around to answer questions afterwards, or are you taking off?
Jeremy, I do have another appointment coming up at the top of the hour, but I did want to hear from the audience if they have any specific questions that they would like me to address, which they can reach me directly at sales@ninjatrader.com and just put attention Ryan Sindelar, or Ryan S., since we have a couple of Ryans on the sales team here, so that they can get a hold of me directly. And I'd be happy to answer any questions related to sales or technical support or business development, sort of a jack of all trades, and I can also get some help from my staff as well if there's anything there that is beyond the scope of what I can answer.
Great. Okay, thanks, Ryan. So I guess I'll take over now here, and I just wanted to, before I pass it over to Zach, ask you guys one question. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the polls working here in time for whatever reason, GoToMeeting. But my question is to you guys, and this is sort of, we're just trying to put the feelers out there in terms of getting some ideas on what people want. Do you want to fully automate your trading, or have the ability to buy and sell, say, pre-made systems? So if this was a world where you could only choose, say, one thing, which would you prefer? To fully automate your trading system, like complete robotically, from start to finish, or would you prefer to have the ability to buy, say, pre-made systems from a marketplace and enhance them, and then use that maybe to trade discretionarily, or to put into your own strategy, or what have you? Just kind of like we have with BloodHound, except having the ability to sort of quick start or buy other people's systems, and it's sort of in that as well, having the ability to sell maybe systems that you've created yourself, or trade patterns or signals or filters or whatever you want to call them. So say you had to choose between one or the other, which would you prefer to actually have? Yes, both, of course. Yeah, exactly. I guess what I'm asking is which one is more important to you? The ability to have a fully automated trading robot, or the ability to buy /sell, say, pre-made systems, trade systems that you could market or purchase and maybe enhance, that sort of thing. So I'll just let those answers kind of stream in, and you guys can take your time thinking about it. And next time I'll have a poll done up properly so that we can see it a little better. But Zach has now shared his screen, and again, today's topic is convergence, or congestion, and how to detect that, as well as how to use BloodHound to mark those areas on the chart. So without any further ado, let me switch it over to Zach.
Alright guys, yeah, so you guys can see my screen, and I'd just like to say thank you to Ryan again for joining us and offering that discount to the couple of you that don't have Ninja yet. Alright, so yeah, so today's topic is primarily consolidation and various ways that you can use BloodHound to detect consolidation within your system here. So what I'm going to start off with is the regression channel, which most of you recognize right here is the dashed white line channel in the upper right area. So this indicator here is from Big Mike's Trading. It's the ANA regression channel. So you can find that in the download section. And for those of you who aren't members of Big Mike's Trading, I highly recommend it. It's a great source of learning, and I think most people go there because it's a great source of indicators. But you know, whatever you need, it's just a great source. And I'd highly recommend that you join as a paid member. It's well worth the one-time fee. And of course, it helps pay for the web fees and whatnot. So, all right. So, looking at the regression channel, there's two ways that we're going to look at this regression channel. One being the slope of the channel. So you can see the channel is flattened out in this part of the chart, and you know that primarily denotes that you know, you're kind of going into some sideways action, you know, within this period of the chart. And another way of looking at the channel is, see how the channel got narrow during this section here? So if you measure the width of the channel along with, you know, along with it being horizontal, you can also determine kind of consolidation areas as well. So BloodHound actually has built-in tools to actually measure those two different aspects of the channel. So, right, so for those of you, you know, there's a few names in here I do recognize and a bunch that I don't. So I'm going to consider that there's a bunch of people that have not seen BloodHound and kind of start from the beginning. So I've already have BloodHound on my chart, and BloodHound is an indicator. So to add BloodHound to your chart, you just simply add the SI BloodHound indicator to your chart. So once that is added, then the second step is to give your template a name. And you'll see that when I click in the template field here, a button appears. So that button will allow me to bring up the next window. And so this window, we call it setup mode, and you'll see the differences between the setup mode and real-time mode. They look the same. The one exception is this chart button that's on here, and another difference is that in setup mode you can load a template. So these are all the saved templates that I have on my system. But I'm actually going to just name this. Hit the change button there. So the change button allows me to change the name. And I'm going to go down here and pick a name that I already have started. So use that one. And then I'm going to put today's date on here. And I do save all these template files, and they are available for download off of the website once we post up the video. So there's today's date. Actually, oops. This actually is a training workshop. Okay, there we go. So now that I have a name in there, save it. And you'll see the name shows up here now. And so one of the other features of setup mode is this chart button. And what the chart button does is it allows you to add alternate time frames. So if you're using like a higher time frame, you know, this is how you add that higher time frame into BloodHound to be a part of your trading system. And you can see I have all of NinjaTrader's default bar types in here, and you'll see there are some custom bar types, and some of them work and some of them don't. We're working on getting all of them to work, but for now all of the built-in NinjaTrader bar types do work. All right, so I could set this to a range. You can see my chart that I have up, it's a 5 range, and then I could set this to a 15 range. And there we go. All right, so so that's setup mode there. Now I'm going to go into real-time mode. All right, now you can see there's a button up here, and now it has the name of the template that I just gave it. So I can click on this button, and that will bring up real-time mode. And now you'll see that in real-time mode, it doesn't have that chart button over here, and it also doesn't have the list of template files for me to load up. I can only save them. All right, so we're going to look at the regression channel first. So let me first look at the slope of the regression channel. So I'm going to use the slope solver first. So I'll add that on there. And you'll see it added the indicator slope underneath my default time frame. And the default time frame is the chart's time frame. And if I wanted to analyze the slope of the regression channel in the 15 range chart, I could move it down, and it gets moved down into the 15 range chart. I'm going to move it back up, and first thing I like to do is once I add a solver is to rename it. Usually just give it an abbreviation, so the regression channel slope. And you'll see here this indicator field allows me, by default it's set up to indicator, and it allows me to select any indicator I want. So here it defaults to the SMA, and you can see that once I click in this field, in this property, it also brings up a button. And if I click on that button, then it brings up a list of indicators. But the regression channel, when you're analyzing the slope, it's kind of a special case. And so we built that into BloodHound. So if I click on the type field, you can see there's various types that we can of data that we can analyze. So we could analyze the closing price, volume, any kind of indicator, swings, and then at the bottom the regression channel. So I'm going to put it on the regression channel, and I have to make sure that the setting for the regression channel matches what I have on my chart. We can see I have a 50 period on my chart. I'm going to set this to 50. And now, and you can see as I'm making changes, the output to BloodHound is updating in real time. So let me just make another change to show you that. So there. All right, so let me put it back to 50. All right, so let's just analyze what this is. Take a look at what this is doing right now. So we can see that BloodHound is the output is red when the channel is pointing down, And when the channel is sloping up, it's giving us a green output, or a long. So it's giving us a long output when the channel is rising, and a short output when the channel is falling or decreasing. Just kind of scroll through here so you can see that. So you can see it looks like it's flat right now. As soon as we go one bar over, you can see it has a slight downslope, and then BloodHound changes its output there. All right, so how do we use that to detect a flat area? That's what we want. All right, so we can see the channel now looks kind of flat. All right. So what I can do is I can adjust the outputs down here. So you can see that when I cleared the ones out of there, that the output disappeared. And if I put one back in here, you'll see the output comes back. And what that is doing is the greater than max, what that is doing is it is comparing the slope to the setting that is set up here in parameters. Now right now it's set to 0 ticks. So essentially whether the channel is sloping up or sloping down, if it's greater than 0 ticks or less than 0 ticks, we're going to get a 1 output from BloodHound. And what I'm going to do is actually set this less than minimum. And I need to put a minimum in here. So you can't have less than 0. So let's try 0.1 ticks. And just to let you know, I don't ever pre-rehearse this stuff because I like to have you guys kind of witness me walking through my thought process to kind of help you take your system and kind of convert it. So if you're able to watch me think this through, I'm hoping that it will help you guys think your system through when you're trying to convert your ideas into BloodHound. And so sometimes I need to do some experimenting to think this through. And let's see here. You can see up here there's also some other settings. We can invert the values. And sometimes that gives you quite the unexpected results. And sometimes it works out for you. But it is good to kind of experiment and play around with things, and that's I think most people are pretty adept at discovering how something works is kind of by playing with it. And all right. Invert is on. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. And now we can see it's pretty hard to get the slope of the regression channel to an absolute 0 slope. All right, so let me take a look at these areas where there's no output there. And there you go. We can see so we can see that when we back up, we can see there's a slope, and then as we move forward, now we can see the output right there on that bar. So now the slope of the regression channel is essentially, let me bring the real-time window back up, is less than 0.1 ticks. Now, one thing about the regression channel is when you look at the chart, you're like, well, this all looks like it's all flat and range bound, and of course we can see that historically, but most indicators are lagging indicators, and the regression channel is definitely set to a 50 period. It's definitely lagging by almost 50 periods. And so we can see as I step forward, the slope of the channel, still is flattening out, and it's really flat. And then as it starts to rise, then BloodHound starts to give us an output there. So what I can do is I can change the amount of slope, adjust the amount of slope so that BloodHound will allow more slope to detect a flat area. So what I can do is go in here and adjust that to, let me over-exaggerate and go to 0.3. Now we can see a lot more of the chart disappears. So now if I invert this, okay. So there, now we can see BloodHound is giving us an output when the channel is flat, or when it has some slope to it. So I'm just going to step this back, and we can see how steep the slope gets on that channel. So there we go. There's the cutoff point right there. So at this angle, BloodHound is saying that the channel is flat, and this angle is meeting our requirement for a flat slope, or that consolidate. Essentially, what we're looking at is that a period of consolidation could start to be happening right now. Up until that point right there. And with 0.3, obviously you can see there's a pretty good angle on that regression channel. So probably something more reasonable is, down to 0.1 or 0.15. Let's try 0.15. See what that does. All right. So right there is about 0.15 ticks of slope, and then when I go to the next one, then there's too much of a slope, and BloodHound stops giving us an output. Let me kind of back up and take a look at some of these other areas. All right. So right there, the output turns off, and there the output turns on, and then the output is off, and we can see there's a lot of slope. Yeah, the slope's getting steeper. So as I back up, there we go. So that we're getting an output right here at this slope, and if I back it up, you can see it slope flattens a little bit more, and then the channel is pointing down. All right, I think you guys get the idea of that. I see there's some questions coming in. I'm going to kind of scan through these questions a little bit. Let's kind of look more like just some comments. All right, so Phil has a question here. What is the center line that changes color in the middle of the price dot maybe? Let's see, in the middle of the price. I'm going to get to that, Phil. That's another price data. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. So that's another one of the indicators we're going to be looking at today. All right. So, all right, so let me, so next let's look at the linear regression channel width. And remember, if I go through this a little fast, we do post the video, and I will post this template file for download. All right, so you can see right here we have the regression channel width, a particular solver that actually measures that width. I'm going to add that on here, and I'm going to turn the other solver off. And once again, I'm going to make sure that the indicator that I have on the chart matches the settings of the indicator in BloodHound. Right, so I am using, I can see looking up here, I have, we already know I have a period of 50, and this 4 is the width. So 50 and 4, and so right now it's measured in ATRs. It's kind of hard for us to visualize because we don't know what the actual ATR value is. So I'm going to change this to ticks. It's a little easier for us to visually see and understand. So you can see on my chart I have the grid set to 10 tick increments on the CL here. So I'm going to kind of adjust these settings until it begins to affect the output of BloodHound. So I'm not sure exactly, well, okay, I can guesstimate here, so I can see that width of this channel is 7958 to 8006, so that's almost 50 ticks. So let me set this to 50. Set that to 50. And apparently that looks too wide. All right, so we'll do 40 and 50. Just so we'll kind of do this so you get the kind of the concept of what the solver is doing here. Actually, maybe I should go even a little lower so we have more examples. All right, there we go. So I set it to 30 and 40, actually. Yeah, so there we'll just create a digital type output that'll be easier to understand at first. Okay, so we're getting an output from BloodHound here because the channel width is greater than 40 ticks. So as I back up, we'll see that the channel width will begin to narrow. And if I slide down, then if we subtract these two values of the channel, they're going to be less than 40 ticks. Right, so we're essentially at 78, which is almost 0.80, plus 40 ticks, 0.8 plus 40 ticks would be 0.2, so from 0.78 plus 40, it's going to be 0.18. So we can see we're just under 40 ticks there. And if I step forward one, now the channel width is greater than 40 ticks. So right now, in this mode, BloodHound is marking marking the channel width when it's greater than 40 ticks, but we're looking for consolidation. So in a sense, we kind of want the opposite output, at least just for us to visualize. And then I'll kind of come back to this for its practical use in a trading system. So we can see the channel is pretty narrow there, and then it widens up to greater than 40 ticks. And then it narrows back up. All right, so to simply reverse the output here, in this case I can use the invert value. Now the reason why the invert value is going to work in this case is because we're getting both a long and a short at the same time. Now most other solvers they won't give you the same results that you see here, and that's because most other solvers are giving you either a long output or a short output. It's usually one or the other, not both at the same time. So you'll notice that when you use the invert value on most of the other solvers, you may not get the results that you expect. So, all right, there we go, and so now when the channel is wider than 40 ticks, there's no output. So right here, you can see the channel gets a little bit narrower, and if I step back, it's a little wider. You can see the channel width changing. So this is less than 40 ticks, and this is greater than 40 ticks. Right. Now, if you're building a system, and normally what you would want is you would want, a minimum width of the regression channel to kind of as one way of analyzing volatility. And so you actually would want an output from BloodHound in that case. But you can see right now that when the channel does get pretty wide here, let me slide my chart down again. So as the channel widens greater than 40 ticks, we don't get an output from BloodHound. And typically that's not what you want. Typically you want all your solvers to give you an output when all your saying that all your conditions are met. And so one of our conditions is that we want to make sure that the regression channel has a minimum width. So I'm actually going to put this solver back in its default mode. So I'm going to turn the inverting off. So if you're using the regression channel width as kind of a permissive, saying that there's enough volatility in price movement, then this is actually the mode that you would want. Right. So right now, just to recap, the way we have it set is that when the regression channel is greater than 40 ticks, then BloodHound's going to give us an output. And so this output here, in combination with your other trade signals, would give you the trade signal that you're looking for your system. And then as the channel narrows, this particular solver would no longer give you an output, right, and would possibly prevent your other signals from firing. Let's kind of back this up and take a look at this area here. So we can see right here the regression channel is pretty narrow. And then we can see the regression channel widens out pretty great. So, all right, so that's the regression channels measuring the slope and measuring the width of the regression channel. So I guess to kind of put this into some practical terms, you know, if this probably would come in handy when you're actually using the regression channel to set up some trades. So, you know, you can kind of see that there's an overall downtrend here, and you know, so one type of trading method is to use the regression channel. And so when price comes up to the top of the regression channel here like this, you know, usually that one method of trading is that when you're in a down slope, you wait for the price to reach the top of the channel to enter into a short trade. So it's kind of like using the trend channel or using the regression channel as telling you when a pullback happened, right? So you could consider this as a pullback in price in which you would want to go short again. And in doing that, so if you're using the regression channel to kind of pick out your pullbacks to trade with the trend, you would also kind of want some width in this channel as well. So let me back this way up and kind of show you some areas, you know, like this. This part of the channel is really narrow, and so that might not be enough of a pullback. Price is moving pretty quick there, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly, you know, what is a good pullback when the channel is really narrow there. But when the channel widens, you know, like this, then it's definitely a lot easier to see these pullbacks. And there would be a little short trade there. Okay, so let me move on to the ADX VMA. All right, so the blue and the red and the yellow dots are actually white dots. This is the ADX VMA indicator. And once again, this is another great indicator from Big Mike's. There's several versions up there. I'm not sure which one's the best. I just happened to pick one of them. This one here is version 1.5.2, which I think is the latest one up there. And so what this moving average, it incorporates the ADX to try and detect consolidation areas. So you can see when I'm getting these white dots here, essentially that is when the moving average flattens out, and it's affected by the ADX. I don't know exactly how it's working, but you know, I'm assuming that the ADX is either below a certain value, or the ADX is probably has a downslope on it, or something like that. But we can see that on the chart, you know, when we get into these consolidation areas, that I'm going to draw a circle on the chart here, so we can see that, you know, when price starts to get choppy like this, you know, that we get the white dots. And of course the same over here. So what I'm going to show you is how to use BloodHound to detect these white dots. And there's several ways we can do this. So let me bring over the BloodHound panel. And so first, let's see, I see there's some questions coming in. You know, Xavier, you're asking about the objective. Let's see, that was about 11:16. Trying to see how long ago that was, about 15 minutes ago. So Avery, I'm sorry I didn't see your question when you actually asked it. I guess you were probably asking it when I was looking at the width of the regression channel. So I hope I did eventually answer your question there. All right, so back to the ADX VMA. So I'm gonna use the slope solver, and I'm gonna analyze the slope of this moving average. So we can see that when we're getting the white dots denoting consolidation, that these white dots are flat. So we'll use the slope solver, and I'm going to rename it. Typically I use the indicator name that I want to look at with the solver. So ADX VMA. So I'm going to change this indicator, change it from the SMA over to the ADX VMA. There we go, it's up on top. Now I can double click on the indicator and it will drop it down, or I can click on the add new button as well. All right, now down in this box here, we can see the various plots that this indicator has that we can analyze. So I'm assuming that this rising plot is probably the plot when the indicator is blue. So this plot here is probably matches, let's see, oops, rising, yeah, so we can see that the names match up. So we have rising, and we see the color is set to blue here. So if I analyze this plot, I'm only going to get data when the indicator is blue. And so BloodHound's not going to get any kind of data when the indicator are white dots or when it's red, only when the indicator is blue. And the same is going to be happening with the falling. So falling would be, if I look up here, it's red. So the falling is only going to be the red plot. And then neutral would be the white dots. And then you can see we have some other data here. Now these are data series. So plots are what actually shows on the chart or plotted to the chart. Data series is just hidden data that other indicators or your strategy could analyze. And so BloodHound's able to look at this data. And so right here, we have signal and main. I'm assuming that main is probably all the data, whether the indicator is blue, white dots, or red. I think we're going to get data for the continuous line here. So let me select this and we'll check that out. Now right now with the default slope solver, BloodHound's going to give me an output. I need to turn this other one off. We can see that BloodHound's going to give me an output because we're using 0 ticks of slope. We're going to get an output at any kind of slope except when it's flat. So we can see that when the indicator is flat with the white dots, there's no output from BloodHound. And of course, when the indicator turns blue, meaning price is rising, we're getting a long output from BloodHound. And we can see here on this one bar, the indicator turned down, right, and gave us a short output from BloodHound, and then it went flat, and then there's no output. And what we can do is we can change that. So with this at 0 slope, I can set this to 1. So BloodHound's going to give us a value of 1 on the output. when the slope of the indicator is 0. So there. Now we can see we're getting an output on both the longs and the shorts when the indicator is flat here. And if I only want an output when it's flat, I can set that to 0, set this to 0. Now BloodHound's only giving us an output here, both longs and shorts, when the indicator is flat. The reason why BloodHound gives us a long and short in this situation is because BloodHound doesn't know what kind of system you're building initially. So if your indicator is flat, you could be using it to go long or short. So it's going to give you both outputs. And then you use your other, the other conditions, the other indicators within your system to determine whether it's going to go long or short during a consolidation period. All right, so some systems are looking for this consolidation area and waiting for a breakout. So you could be building a system where you can see it looks like, we kind of got this resistance area right along here. So if I draw a line so we can kind of see that, it looks like there's kind of a resistance area here. So some methods of trading is, you wait for this kind of consolidation and then you wait for a breakout and then take the trade. And so we can see here that BloodHound is giving us a signal using this indicator of this kind of consolidation. And then you wait for a breakout above this resistance line to take your trade. But normally, I would say, most people would be using BloodHound in this type of the default setting situation. So let me set this back to the defaults. So I'd say the normal use of BloodHound is you don't want any kind of signal when price is doing nothing. Typically you want an output here when price is in a trend. Most people like to trend trade. All right, so let me kind of scan through some of these questions here. All right, so Jack's asking, you only get the dots when the indicator is in the true setting on conservative mode. Jack, I'm not sure what that conservative mode is. I kind of played with it a while back, and I haven't had time to kind of look that up, but I'm sure somewhere up on Big Mike's there's several postings that talk about this indicator and long lengthy discussions, and someone up there might have posted, hopefully the author might have explained what that does. I haven't determined myself what that actually does. All right. Well, thanks for your comment there, Randy, about me kind of walking you guys through my thought process here. So, all right. So I'm gonna check the time here. All right. Yeah, it's getting close. We got 20 minutes till 12, so I'm just gonna try and push through this a little quickly. So then I'm going to move on to the SI swing volatility indicator. So I'm going to put the SI swing indicator on the chart so you guys can visualize this one. So this one's getting kind of advanced. It takes some pretty good thinking. Kind of sorry I have to rush through this this one. Okay. And this is kind of my personal preference. I like setting this double top, double bottom threshold to 0.5 ATRs. Just kind of a visual for me. That way there's less frequent double tops and double bottoms detected. So we can see here's a double top. That clearly looks like a double top. And you can see this, it marked this as a double top. And, you know, sure, that's within 2 ticks. Yeah, I consider that a double top. But with 1 ATR, sometimes, you know, it detects price differences, you know, pretty significant. To me, you know, that's definitely subjective, you know, but to me, when it's set to 1 ATR, kind of depends on how volatile the market is, but typically I like the 0.5 to detect my double tops and double bottoms. Like this double bottom over here, yeah, I mean, that to me, that's like a 1 tick difference. I definitely consider that a double bottom within 1 tick. So. All right, so the SI swing volatility solver, what that is doing is that is looking at the length of each of these swing swing points. So let me, actually, I'm going to thicken these lines up here. Oops. That way they're easier to see. Let's set them to 4. Okay. And let me bring up the BloodHound window and turn off that solver. Okay, now it makes it easier to see. All right, so we can see that. So the this solver here. There we go at the very bottom. I'll turn that off. All right, so this solver has various ways to look at the length of these lines. All right, so these lines are going from the top down to the bottom, from the high to the low of each swing point. All right, so you can measure the price movement of these lines. So you can measure the y-axis. So from here, I'm at 79.20 up to here, 79.46. So that's 26 ticks of price movement. So this solver has ways of various ways of looking at that price movement. So I'm going to change my targets. My targets essentially are what controls the length of price movement that I want to look at. So I'm going to set this. I'm going to set them both to 20. And now the swing parameters here is the various ways of the number of swings. What this is doing is this is looking at the number of swings. So each one of these lines is a swing. So with it set to 3, it's going to be looking at 3 swings. Now the current swing that's actually occurring in real time is considered one of the swings. So let me let's go to real time here, or I mean go to where the market is moving, and we can see we're in the middle of a downswing. You can hopefully you can see the pink line that's already formed there. Let me see if I can put this indicator on top of the chart. There we go. Okay, now the indicator is sitting on top price. And, oops. For me, that pink is a little hard to see. So I'm going to change the color here. we'll make this blaringly obvious, and I'll just set it to red. All right, so hopefully you can see that red on top of the orange price a little better. So let me bring up the BloodHound window again. So right now we have the solver set to look at three swings. So the first swing is the one that's actually being drawn right now, so it's the red line. And then the second swing back will be the green line, and then the third one back will be this red line. So that's how many swings the solver is actually analyzing. And then the swing sensitivity is set to 3. This is essentially, if you're familiar with the swing indicator and setting that parameter, that's what this is. That's what this is. And so the targets here are set to 20 ticks minimum. So we can see that, oh, well, let me back up here. So we're analyzing the number of swings is 3. And the evaluation mode, we can see there's minimum, average, and maximum. So if I set it to minimum, within the last 3 swings, the minimum swing, the smallest swing, has to be greater than 20 ticks out of the last 3. So let's kind of look back here and see if that actually occurs anywhere. And we see that's not occurring, and I can tell you why. It's because if you look at how short these swing points are, they happen very frequently. So a sensitivity of 3, just doesn't work very well for this instrument. It doesn't work very well for the CL. So I do some preparation, even though I don't like to pre-rehearse all my stuff, but so I kind of figured out last night that 5 works pretty good with the CL, or at least it looked pretty good last night. And oh. Of course, it would help if I turn the solver on. So there we go. So it still doesn't look like we're getting any swings. 3 swings in a row, that's a minimum of 20 ticks. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like this would make, but it doesn't. This one's not quite 20 ticks. Oh, here we go. Let's kind of walk through this. All right, so if we're looking 3 swings back, so we can see this swing here. Remember, 20 ticks is going to be 2 of these grid lines, just to help us eyeball it quickly. So we can see this is 20 ticks, more than 20 ticks. This is 21 ticks for the green, and this is almost 30 ticks, right? So if we're in this downswing currently, and we're looking back 3 swings, we got three swings that meet our minimum of 20 ticks for each swing. And then as we step forward, now, see, we're looking historically, so this upswing would not have been detected yet. And so the indicator is still going to think it's working on this downswing. So it's kind of hard to visualize this stuff historically. And it's still doing that. Oh, And also, I need to adjust my indicator so it matches BloodHound. Remember, I changed the sensitivity to 5. So let's update the indicator on the chart. Okay. There we go. Now it's making more sense, right? So we got a swing here of about 40 ticks. A swing here of, I think that was 21 ticks. And remember, it's always analyzing the current swing. So the current swing has to get to 20 ticks as well. So the previous 2 swings are more than 20 ticks, but the current swing, once it's been detected, it has to get to 20 ticks before BloodHound will give us an output here. So there's our 20 ticks. So from up here down to here, the current swing that's being worked on is met the 20 tick requirement. And then right here, so then probably right here on this bar is when the uptrend was detected. And then that's when BloodHound stopped plotting, because this uptrend that was just detected, being the current one, what hadn't met 20 ticks yet. And it looks like it never did. Okay. So hopefully that gives you guys an understanding of how this is being analyzed. So let me bring up BloodHound. Now, typically, I'd say using the average is probably going to give you the results that you're looking for. And let me kind of up this a little bit. So if we're trying to identify consolidation, setting both of these to 30 ticks will identify consolidation of less than 30 ticks. So let's start here in real time. So all of this, when you average the last 3 swings out, you can see this swing here is pretty significant. So we're going from 36 to 72, so that's about 35 ticks. But when you average it out, with the previous 2, it doesn't average out to greater than 30 ticks. So let's adjust this down to 20 ticks. That will we'll get some more signals out of BloodHound there. Oops. 2 in there. There we go. Okay, so now we can see from looking at these gaps here that the swing's kind of starting to narrow up a little bit. And so we can see that this kind of looks like a consolidation area in here until it took off, and then once this long swing was detected, BloodHound gave us an output for that, showing us that there's volatility coming back into the price action here. All right, so we can see once again this area in here got marked pretty good. Now, if you guys ever traded the CL, you know that 20 ticks is $200 per contract. So that 20 ticks is pretty good off the CL. I'm sure we'd all love to live off at $200 a day. But so say if you're trying to capture 20 ticks out of the CL market, well, you're definitely going to want these price swings to be greater than 20 ticks, because most of us are, like to just get the easier trades and just kind of scalp in the middle. No one likes to try and ride ride your profit out to the very last point, and what happens if price doesn't quite get there, and it pulls back, and you lose some of your profit. So a lot of it psychologically, it's definitely more comfortable to try and capture, some part of the trade in the middle there, and not try and catch the very top, or not trying to catch the very bottom. So if you're trying to capture 20 ticks in the CL, you're probably going to be looking for, some swings of 30 to 40 ticks, and just try and capture the little section in the middle. All right, so in trying to wrap this up, the next one is the bar length solver. So let me, all right, I'm going to turn the solver off, and then we'll add the bar length solver. This one's pretty simple, but if you're a price action trader, I forget the gentleman's name. Maybe one of you guys can pop that into the questions and remind me. I know on Big Mike's, if you're a paid member, there's all kinds of webinars up there, great learning ones, and one of them's from a well-known price action trader, and he trades the 5-minute chart, and he likes to, he likes to see significant moves within one bar to give him a heads up that there's going to be another significant move coming, fairly soon. And so when he sees large movements in one particular 5-minute bar, to him that's kind of an Al Brooks. Thank you. Yep, that's it, Al Brooks. So Al looks for a significant move in one of the 5-minute bars, and that's kind of a pre-setup for him, looking for the next leg up or leg down. So let's see. Let's set this to. Actually, I'm going to go back to ATRs. This one's more reasonable when you're using ATRs, even though it's kind of harder to see. But it makes more sense when you're using ATRs. So I'm going to set this to 3 ATRs and set minimum to 2 ATRs. And all right, and then next I need to put this on a minute, because obviously on a range chart, every bar, and essentially you get a flat ATR in a range chart. So let's put this on a 5-minute chart. Okay, so we can see with the bar length solver, we pull that back up. All right, so we can see that with the bar length solver, we're starting, a BloodHound's going to start detecting, it's going to start giving us an output when the bar length starts at 2 ATRs, and then if a bar length gets to 3 ATRs, and essentially that's when it's going to give us the signal here. And so we can see these long bars here. We got a whole bunch of short ones, and then boom, we got a long one here. And then it's marked by BloodHound. Another long bar is marked by BloodHound, and another one, and it's marked. Then we can see this bar right here. We can see BloodHound gave us an output of almost 0.5. So 0.5, right? That's a half. So this bar is right in the middle between 2 ATRs and 3 ATRs. So this bar is approximately 2.5 ATRs. Right. So and we can see that this first bar here, as it took off, it was a little bit of a pullback, and then price moved up again, just kept moving up, moving up. And we can see with all of these long bars, that this long down bar here. Well, it did give us an output, so it's at 0.6. BloodHound gave us a 0.6, so it didn't quite get to 3 ATRs, and that could be because all of these previous long bars kind of increased the ATR output. So, all right, let me kind of look through the questions here. It's 12 o'clock, so I kind of want to start wrapping this up. Let's see. So, Michael, sounds like you have a question about Skype. Michael, if you had a question for us, I'm kind of sorry we're out of time today, but I'm going to show you how to set up a meeting. So if you got some questions, you can set up a meeting with me, or of course you can send us an email. So let me see, going back to these questions. Jeremy, while I'm reading these questions, if you got anything to think might be helpful, go ahead and type on in.
Oh no, I'm just I was just wanted to message you there. Michael had contacted us through the questions there and asked for some help just getting the install going. So after this webinar is done, we'll hook up with him, probably even on the same GoToMeeting or maybe Skype. So I don't think there's anything I can see that hasn't been addressed here.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to some of the earlier questions people were asking, I think, on the Regression Channel. Let's see. Yeah, Randy had a suggestion about using the Regression Channel that if we use it on a shorter time frame, that it'll give you a sooner notification as to when the channel is shortening up. That's definitely true. Well, I don't really see any questions. Most of these just look like comments. I appreciate those guys. All right. Well, it's after 12 o'clock, so it's time for us to go. And thank you for hanging in there with us for 2 hours. Really appreciate it. And just to let you guys know, the 4th of July is next Wednesday. So, of course, we're not going to do a webinar on the 4th. So we're going to move it to the 3rd on Tuesday. So it's going to be Tuesday morning on the 3rd. And since the 3rd is not a holiday, hopefully you guys will be joining us then. And so until then, we'll get this video posted up on the web. And once again, I upload, we also include, I save my chart template as well and the BloodHound template. And let me give you some various ways for any new people here. One way that you guys can contact me is through Skype. So if you see me online on this Skype, so you can find me at Zach White SI is my Skype handle for BloodHound. So if I'm signed into this account, that means I'm available for instant questions, instant chat. We can open up an instant GoToMeeting, and discuss any kind of questions you have, or any kind of issues or whatever it might be. I'm going to leave this over here, and then another way to reach me is by the website. And just finding the page here, and I'll bring the web page over. Okay, so here's the website. All right, so if you hit the home page, if you go to support and go to contact us, you can send us a question here or anything, right? So this will send us an email if you use this form here. And another resource is if you'd like to book a session with me, you can use the book an appointment here. And this will take you to a scheduling site that I have. And of course, put your time zone in. And so if I put, let's see, Eastern. And of course, if you're in the UK, let me back up actually. Let me back up. So for some of our customers are over in the UK or Australia, you can change what country you're in here. See if I can find the UK. There we go. And hit OK, and it'll convert the time over to your time zone, and then you can pick a day, and then you can see when I'm available. So if I go, over to July and we look on Tuesday, you can see the times that I'm available. Of course, there's a 7-hour difference, so you see these are pretty early in the morning. But anyways, so that's a resource to book an appointment with me. And so once again, from the home page, if you go to support and go to contact us. And let me show you, we moved over to a new support site that we think is a lot better. It's got some really good search capabilities. So now we're using Zendesk up here. And so if you go to sharkindicators.zendesk.com, and if you go to the support forum, we've moved most of the questions from the old support forum over to here. And just to kind of show you under the tips and tricks, all of the previous tutorials that I did for people are under the tips and tricks. So if you look in here, there's a lot of questions, commonly asked questions here. One of these, let's see. Yeah, so this question gets actually asked a lot. This stochastic crossing system. And you can see I do a step-by-step tutorial of how to do that. So all these postings up here under the tips and tricks all are step-by-step video tutorials. And then under the community help, there's just another bunch of just generally asked questions in there. So hopefully you guys will find this much more useful, and the search tool seems to be a lot better. All right, so with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Jeremy, any last words?
Nope. Thanks for everybody for joining us. And again, next week, it's not going to be Wednesday. It's going to be on Tuesday. So I'll be sending out an email to remind everybody that because of the July 4th holiday, we're going to be moving it one day ahead to Tuesday. Same time, though. And the theme next week will be a continuation of this consolidation, and in fact, using some pretty advanced ideas and from one of our customers who suggested using or finding consolidation by looking at, say, a Bollinger Bands type squeeze, or using we have a new indicator included in BloodHound called SI Chameleon, and checking the highs and low prices just to look for these squeezes or these triangles, if you will. And it's a very specific type of congestion that some traders look for, where you're looking at really tight consolidation and it's just accelerating. The consolidation's accelerating. So those are great little places to look for possible explosions in either direction. So next week we'll be covering that and how to set that up with BloodHound. And yes, this is recorded, Edward. Thank you. So without any further ado, I will shut down the room here, and we'll see you hopefully next week.